Hi guys, very good morning. Welcome back to the session. Okay, so in the last class, you have taken the test case template. Okay, and then I gave an assignment for you to write down the test scenarios as well as even test case in this particular template. That I'm going to review it on Saturday. Okay, now let's get back to the test case review process. What exactly we are going to review? Like here I mentioned what we review in the template and what process we follow. Let me explain with the theory and then we'll take down the notes. I hope my voice is clear to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, whenever customer gives the requirement, yes, development team, like business analyst team will be there. They go and collect the requirements and then they'll create a separate PBIs and then they will assign it to the respective developers and QA team. And so development team, they start developing the product as per the requirements. Meanwhile, testing team also, they'll look into the requirements and they'll start writing a test cases. Okay, once like, they identify all the possible test scenarios and then they'll write the test cases and then they will send a test case to the test lead saying that yes, I have written these test cases. Then the test lead will assign one particular person like your colleague or maybe your senior test engineer to review those test cases. So they will review the test cases. If there is any mistakes, okay, if there is any spelling mistakes, if there is any scenarios which you have missed, they'll give it in the review comments. That's why this section is the review comments. And then again, they'll send, okay, these are all the mistakes you have made in this test case. If it is valid, you can accept. If it is not valid, still you can reply to them saying that, yeah, whatever I have written, this is a valid one. So this is a proof. Like that, you can argue with them. That's not a problem at all. If you are correct. If you're not correct, just accept their mistake, whatever mistakes they have violated, correct those mistakes, and again, you ask them to review. So then they'll say everything is fine. Then test lead will approve your test cases. These test cases will be stored in the test case repository. Test case repository. Now you're all seeing this Google Drive, right? Same way, there will be a one centralized repository. Here I have 2 TB storage. 2 TB storage where I can keep all my class recordings in this particular storage. Okay, it is having a 2 TB capacity. Same way, there is a centralized repository where they keep all the test cases. Means once they write a test case and all the test cases are approved, they'll keep it in one single place so that in future, if you leave also, they don't mind. Okay, they have all the test cases documented. If any new engineer comes, he will go and refer those test cases. And you cannot delete those test cases. Only the managers will have a complete access to the delete. You will have only to view access. When we are uploading the test cases in the repository, you will have only view access. Okay, and then we get a build for a testing, and then we'll look into the requirements, and then we'll start continuing the testing. So this is how, okay, so this is a process we follow. And what we review actually. First thing is we review the template. Whatever template we have used, is it correct? As per the project decided, is it correct? And then we check the header. Each and every section of this header is the right. This is every column. Every column I check whether all the attributes, I call it as attributes. Each and every column I call it as attribute. Whether all the attributes are captured properly or not. And whether all the attributes in this header are filled properly or not. Is there anything half of filled or everything is filled? Check all these attributes are relevant to the project or something else, anything extra you have written which is not required. So I'm checking that. Then I check the body of the test case. Means once you start writing a test cases, let me open that sample test case. Let's say I want to check the body of the test case. This is a body. Check whether all the possible scenarios are covered or not. I'll check. And then check whether the flow of a test case is good or bad. So I want to see that. Okay, each and every test case, the flow should be good. The flow of a test case, I'll check. So we have written the steps, right? See, we have written the steps. Check the flow of a test case is good or not. And check whether the test case design technique is applied or not while writing a test case. Means whether like boundary value analysis, or equivalence class partitioning, anyone is applied or not. And check whether the test cases should be organized in such a way that it should take less time to execute. Detailed step by step, whether we have written it or not. And check whether the test cases are easy to understand, or is like if any person look into your test scenario and test cases, they should be able to understand without any confusion. And check whether the proper navigation steps are written or not. All these things we're going to check. Okay. Now write down procedure to review test case. Procedure to review test case. Whenever customer gives the requirement, whenever customer gives the requirement, development team, they start development team, they'll start developing the product. Development team, they start developing the product. Development team, they start developing the product. Meanwhile, testing team, meanwhile, testing team, meanwhile, testing team, they will look into the, meanwhile, testing team, they will look into the meanwhile, testing team, they will look into the requirements. Meanwhile, testing team, they look into the requirements. And start writing the test cases. And start writing the test cases. Start writing the test cases. Start writing the test cases by identifying all the possible test scenarios. 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 Full stop. Once the test case writing is completed, Once test case writing is completed, once the test case writing is completed, once the test case writing is completed, those test cases will be sent to the test lead for approval. Those test cases will be sent to the test lead for approval.
So can you repeat?
Be on mute, yeah. So once test case writing is completed, those test cases will be sent to the test lead, will be sent to the test lead for approval. Will be sent to the test lead for approval. We'll stop. Test lead will assign a test lead will assign a senior test engineer or colleague. Test lead will assign a senior test engineer or colleague. Test lead will assign a senior test engineer or your colleague to review those test cases. Test lead will assign senior test engineer or your colleague to review those test cases. To review those test cases. Come on. While reviewing the test cases, while reviewing the test case, while reviewing the test cases, if they find any of the mistakes, 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 they'll give a review comments in the comment section. They'll give a review comments in the comment section of the test case template or test cases. They will give a review comments. They'll give a review comments in the comment section of test cases. The comment section of test cases. Okay, full stop. We have to fix those review comments. 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 We have to fix those review comments, and then again we can request for test case review, and then again we can request for test case review, and then again we can request for test case review. Again we can request for test case review. And then finally, these test cases will be approved. And then finally, these test cases will be approved. Then finally, these test cases will be approved. Then finally, these test cases will be approved. Full stop. These approved test cases, we will store it in the test case repository. These approved test cases, we store it in the test case repository. These approved test cases, we store it in the test case repository. Example, see, this is test case repository. There are multiple projects. Let's say project 1, project 2, project. There are so many projects will be running in the company, right? Let's say in this project, there is one folder, test case, and there's one more folder called requirements. There is one more folder for automation, like automation scripts. There's one more folder for source code of a develop whatever they've developed. Like this, there are folders will be there where we are going to go and store our test cases in the respective project. These approved test case, we will store it in the test case repository and use it for testing the build. 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 Or a software given by the development team. Use it for testing the build or a software given by the development team. Given by the development team. We'll stop. This is a procedure or a process we follow. This is the procedure or process we follow while reviewing the test case. While reviewing the test cases. That's it. While reviewing the test case. Anyone wants to read out once again? Let me check. Is there any mistakes? Anyone? Quick. Sanjana, can you read it out?
Whenever,
I'll go with Sanjana. Wait. I know one is to read. Sanjana, yes.
okay, sir. Whenever customer review the test cases, development team
Wait.
they will
Whenever customer gives the
reviews the test case.
madam test case, answer ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ
Yes,
Requirement.
requirement
Requirements.
development.
ಕೇಳ್ತಾನ ಅವನು ಯಾವ ಬೋಳಿ ಮಗ ನಿಂಗೆ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಉಗಿತಾರ ಅವ್ರು. ಸೊ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು, ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್.
Requirements, okay, sir.
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ನ.
Okay, sir.
ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ.
Okay, whenever customer review the requirements, development team they will start developing the product.
Okay.
Meanwhile, testing team
Okay.
they will look into the requirements and start writing a test cases
Okay.
by identifying all the possible test scenarios.
Okay.
Once test case writing is completed, those test cases will be sent to the approval. So test lead will assign senior test engineer or colleague to review the test cases. While reviewing the test cases, if they find any of the mistakes, so they will give a review comments in the comment section of the test cases. We have to fix those review comments, and then again we can request for test case review, and then finally these test cases will be approved. These approved test cases will be stored it in the test repository, and use it for testing the build or a software given by the development team. This is a procedure or a process we follow while reviewing test case.
Okay. Vanishi, can you read it once again?
Whenever customer gives requirements, development they will start developing the product.
Developing team.
Development
team.
team. Okay. They will start developing the product. Meanwhile, testing team they will looking to the requirement and start writing the test cases by identifying all the possible test scenarios. Once test case writing is completed, those test cases will be sent to test lead for approval. Test lead will assign senior test engineer or our colleague to review test cases. While reviewing the test cases, if they find any of the mistakes, they will review the comments in the comment section of the test cases. We have to fix those review comments, and then again we can request for test case review, and then finally these test cases will be approved. These approved test case we stored in the test case repository and use it for testing the build or software given by the development team. This is the procedure or process we follow by reviewing the test cases.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Next. What we review in the test case template. Write down what we review in the test case template. Heading, what we review in the test case template. Under that point number 1, template. Point number 1, template. Put one hyphen in front of that. Here we check here we check whether all here we check whether the template is as per the here we check whether the template is as per the project decided or not.
Whether the template is
Here we check whether the template is as per the project decided or not. Template is as per the project decided or not. Okay. Next, second point, header. Header. Under that, I'll give 3 points. Header, under that point number 1 or point number A. Check whether all the attributes are captured or not. Check whether all the attributes are captured or not. All the attributes are captured or not. Second point, check whether all the attributes in the header, check whether all the attributes in the header, check whether all the attributes in the header check whether all the attributes in the header filled properly or not. Filled properly or not. Next, check whether all the attributes in the header check whether all the attributes in the header are relevant or not. Check whether all the attributes in the header are relevant or not. 3 points over. Next, body heading. Third point, body. Template is over, header is over. Next, third one is body of the test case. Under that sub point, point number 1, I'll give you 6-7 points here. Point number 1. Check whether all the possible test scenarios are covered or not. Check whether all the possible test scenarios are covered or not. Check whether all the possible test scenarios are covered or not. Check whether all the possible test scenarios are covered or not. Next, check whether the flow of a test case is good or not. Check whether the flow of a test case is good or not. Check whether the flow of a test case is good. Put a question mark, that's it. Check whether the flow of a test case is good. The flow of a test case is good. Next, check whether test case design tech. Am I fast? Should I go slow or it's fine?
It's
yeah,
fine.
fine.
Check whether the test case design techniques are applied or not.
Sir, one second, sir. Check whether test case.
Check whether the test case design techniques are applied or not. Check whether test case design techniques are applied or not. Next, fourth point. Test cases should be organized in such a way that test cases should be organized in such a way that test cases should be organized in such a way that it should take less time to execute. Test cases should be organized in such a way that it should take less time to execute. Next, check whether check whether test case is simple to understand and execute.
Sir, also you can repeat. Sir.
Check whether test case is simple to understand. Test case is simple to understand and execute. Okay. Next, check whether proper navigation steps are written or not. Okay. Total, how many points were written under the body section?
6 points. Sir.
So this is all about a test case template review. So this is what we review in the template. So this completes your test case review process. Next, there are some most important interview questions you can write down. You should ask this while attending a project class or while taking an interview grooming. Write down point number 1. What is the duration of your current project? What is the duration of your current project? Second point, in your project, total how many features are there?
Sir, what is the duration of current project?
Second question. That's it, first question. Second question is, in your current project, totally how many features are there? Totally how many features are there? How many features are there? Next question. Totally, how many test engineers are there in your current project? Totally, how many test engineers are there in your current project? Next. How many, like, totally, how many test cases are there in your current project? Totally, how many test cases are there in your current project? So I'm asking overall, how many test cases are there? Totally, how many test cases are there in your current project? Total 4 questions is over. Fifth question. You want me to repeat fourth?
No, sir. No, sir.
Fifth one. How many test cases you have written in your current project? How many test cases you have written in your current project? How many test cases you have written in your current project? Okay. Next. How many test cases you can write per day? How many test cases you can write per day? How many test cases you can write per day? Next. How many test cases you can review per day? How many test cases you can review per day? Next. How many test cases you can execute per day? Total 8 questions, huh? Including this. How many test cases you can execute per day?
Ninth one, sir, including
Ninth
this.
one, huh?
Yes, sir.
Check ಮಾಡಿ correct ಆಗಿ. I guess this is the 8th one. Others,
Eight.
This eighth.
sorry.
Eighth one, sir.
How many test cases you can execute per day? 8th one. Then ninth one. Ninth one. Can you explain how you have spent 2 years or 3 years in your current project? Can you explain how you have spent 2 years or 3 years in your current project in detail? how you have spent 2 years or 3 years in your current project. Two years or 3 years in your current project. Okay, perfect. So these are all the questions we'll discuss while doing an interview grooming session. Next, we'll move on to the heading procedure to write a test case. So directly, we don't jump into writing a test case. There is a systematic procedure we follow. Write down heading. What is a procedure to write a test cases? Let me see whether I have written any image. Let me create a new diagram. Identify all the possible test scenarios. Then say we're going to write a test case by applying the test case design technique. Then review the test case given for you. Given to you. Fix the review comments of your test cases. Then test case approval. Okay. So as you already know that you have taken the you have taken the notes like procedure to review test case, right? Same way here. So as soon as I get a test case, I spend good amount of time. Like, sorry, as soon as I get a requirements, like before we write a test case, like first we spend good amount of time on the requirements to understand how these requirements are written, and then what is the expectation from the customer side, and we do the brainstorming session, we discuss with our colleagues and we do the group discussion to understand the requirements in detail. So once the system study is completed, then we will start identifying all the possible test scenarios, and then once we identify all the possible test scenarios, then we will start writing a test cases by applying all the possible test case design techniques, and then we derive the proper test cases. Once test case writing is completed, those test cases will be sent for review process, and then again they'll start reviewing the test case, and also we will also review the test case given by others test engineers, because your test case is reviewed by somebody else and somebody's test cases you will be reviewing it, and then they'll give a review comments, we have to fix those review comments whatever they have given, and then finally those test cases will be approved, and then we store it in the test case repository. This is what we follow, the procedure to write test case. Take down heading procedure to write test case and take down this diagram as well. Finish it fast. Spelling mistake applying. Check. APPLY. Correct this spelling mistake. You make it techniques, test case design techniques, put as at the last. Completed? Let me know once you complete.
Completed.
Completed? Right down. Whenever we get a requirement from the customer, whenever we get a requirement from the customer, whenever we get a requirement from the customer, development team, they start developing the software. 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 Meanwhile, QA team does the following activities.
Security.
Meanwhile, QA team does the following activities. Make it as a paragraph and continue. We do thorough system study. We do thorough system study. We do thorough system study, which means we do thorough system study. We do thorough system study, which means we spend a good amount of time, which means we spend a good amount of time we spend a good amount of time which means we spend a good amount of time to understand the requirements in detail, to understand the requirements in detail, We do a brainstorming session with the colleagues. We do brainstorming session with the colleagues. We do brainstorming session with the colleagues. To get a more clarity on the requirements. To get a more clarity on the requirements. To get a more clarity on the requirements. Full stop. After the system study, after the system study, after the system study, we will start identifying all the possible test scenarios. We will start identifying all the possible test scenarios. We will start identifying all the possible test scenarios. After the system study, we will identify all the possible test scenarios. Identify all the possible test scenarios. And then we write a test cases. And then we write a test cases by applying all the possible test case design techniques. Wait. After identifying all the possible test scenarios, we start writing a test cases by applying test case design techniques. By applying the test case design techniques. By applying the test case design techniques. By applying the test case design techniques. Full stop. Full stop. Okay. Then these test cases will be sent for review process. Then these test cases will be sent for review process. Then these test cases will be sent for review process. These test cases will be sent for review process. Meanwhile, we will review the test cases. Meanwhile, we will review the test cases given to us. Meanwhile, we will review the test cases. Meanwhile, we will review the test cases which are given to us. We'll stop. Next line, paragraph continuation. We will fix the review comments given by the reviewers for the test. We will fix the review comments. 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 Which are given by the reviewers. Which are given by the reviewers. Which are given by the reviewers for our test cases. For our test cases. For our test cases. Which are given by the reviewers for our test cases. For our test cases. And then these test cases, and then these test cases will be sent for approval. And these test cases will be sent for approval. Stop. These approved test cases will be stored in the test case repository. These approved test cases. These approved test cases. These approved test cases stored in the test case repository. These approved test cases stored in the test case repository. These approved test cases stored in the test case repository. Done. So this is a procedure we followed. That's it. Okay. So this is a procedure we follow to write a test case. That's it. Then next heading, test case repository. Small topic. Test case repository. For that answer. See, it's like a centralized storage repository where storage space where we keep all our requirement documents and then test cases and then automation scripts, even whatever the developers they're writing a code, all the developed code, and then what else? Okay, all the discussions, whatever the business discussions happens, everything, we will keep those information in this particular storage space, so that in future, whenever we want, we can go and access it. And it's process dependent, not person dependent. If you leave the company also, but still we can go and get this information which is stored in the repository. Right on. It's a kind of a centralized storage space. 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 It's a kind of a centralized storage space where we store all our where we store all our where we store all our project related documents, where we store all our project related documents like project related documents like project related documents like test cases, test cases, test cases, come on, automation scripts, come on, source code, source code, come on, requirement documents, etc. Requirement document, etc. Okay, so that's all about test case repository. So tomorrow we'll see this test execution process, how we do the execution of a test case, how we prepare a test execution report, TER, test execution report. We'll discuss, and then we'll move on to the software test lifecycle. Let me stop it today. Stop the recording.